Years ago now, I posted a video titled "Pass the Potatoes, Please." Now, it was about Thanksgiving, not Christmas. I reacted to an old Anita Sarkeesian video going over 7 ways to talk to your racist uncle during Thanksgiving. But the same basic idea still applies. Both Thanksgiving and Christmas are holidays viewed by progressives as basically the same thing when it comes to family dynamics. A lot of these people are from small towns. They view that small town life of their childhood as having been oppressive and stifling. And when it was time for them to spread their wings and move to the big city, they all breathed this sigh of relief. And hey, I get it. Big city living has its own obvious problems too. All you have to do is look at those legendary San Fran shitting streets to know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, if you were a small town kid who was, for example, in the closet throughout high school, or you were an atheist in a very religious community, or hell, you just had odd hobbies or something, if you are in any way the black sheep of the family, moving away and having the opportunity to be in your own space, be yourself, is actually a very liberating experience. Yes, you lose the communal bonds of being deeply rooted in one place, but 1, you gain other benefits in exchange, and 2, if you're the community oddball, you probably don't really gain the benefits of those communal bonds anyway. So, unless you're a university student who moved back home to live with the family over the summer break like I did, the yearly ritual of returning home for Thanksgiving or Christmas, less commonly Easter, represents the 1 or 2 times a year that you have to go back to that old environment of your childhood, deal with people and dynamics from a previous era of your life. And sometimes, yeah, that means talking to the racist uncle. I'm one of those small town kids who moved away, and I was very happy to do so. And you know what? Even when I don't see my extended family on a visit back home, when I'm just seeing my parents, I still find myself reverting back to old habits and behaviors while I'm there, like I've de-aged in some weird way. In that Anita Sarkeesian video that I reacted to back then, and the various other articles I brought up in Pass the Potatoes Please, they all present the same basic idea. Because you're the one who made it out. You're morally superior to those country bumpkins you left behind. And when that uncle is racist or sexist or bigoted somehow, you do have to call them out. You can't just let his evil thoughts continue to fester, just because it's the holidays, no matter how much your mom begs you not to start a fight. This view specifically pits the family of the progressive reader as their mortal enemy, which must be confronted, because everything must be called out all the time. The political project demands that you not take a day off from doing everything you can to annoyingly try and make the world a slightly better place. Only it won't actually be better, you'll just be pissing everyone else off in service of an ideology that is actually pretty shit. Well, ever since Trump won the 2024 election, this tendency has ramped up into overdrive. Again, this is about both Thanksgiving and Christmas, but the vibe has shifted. It's no longer about confronting family members during holidays, it's about cutting them off now. A subgenre of video has gone viral on TikTok, where people post their cutting off stories. Kinda like coming out stories, only, it's them cutting off their family for being pro-Trump.
No, I'm not coming to Thanksgiving. No, I'm not coming to Thanksgiving. No, I'm not coming to Thanksgiving. Why? Because I'm not coming to Thanksgiving. Why? Because I'm not coming to Thanksgiving. You know why.
I have many, many Trump supporters in my family, and I refuse to coddle them anymore. I have cut those people out of my life, and I've actually, it's interesting. I feel better that I did that. I don't feel worse for it. I feel better. I feel like there's more space in my heart for goodness because I don't have to compromise my values or my integrity for people that voted for a fascist, for people that voted for misogyny and racism and abject cruelty and xenophobia and mass concentration camps and deportation on a scale that is not necessary and based totally on hysteria and lies. Fears about trans people based totally on hysteria and lies. So we have to take dignity back, self-respect.
Just got in a fight with a family member because I told them I refuse to pretend anymore that people who voted for Trump aren't racist. And she goes, I'm not racist. And the answer is, yeah, you are. Not only are you racist, you've actually fucking told me about the time you wanted to rip a hijab off a woman's fucking head.
Some of these people are actually destroying their own mental health over this.
Christmas is fucking canceled. I ain't buying shit. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Nope. I'm going to save my money from mental health.
I have made the decision for myself and my fiance and our child to skip out on family holidays with my family that voted for Trump. And while I know this is the right decision for myself and my family, I have been depressed the past 10 days. Like, this is truly gut-wrenching.
I just got off the phone with my mom. she's still talking about how great Donald Trump is. And I'm like, what are you saying? And she's just going on about how much cheaper gas is and how she has more money to spend and how she feels safer. And she's going on about how prices are coming down and home mortgages are coming down. And I'm like, but he's a convicted felon. And she's like, I don't care. I bought potatoes today and they were like $1 something. You care more about potatoes than you do about women's rights? I'm like, Mom, you're a woman. Don't you care?
Okay, that last one has to be a troll. And despite these people proclaiming themselves to be bastions of self-love and tolerance, they are nonetheless animated by an extreme self-hatred, which I know you already know about.
Someday, this holiday that a lot of us celebrate, not me anymore, but I once did, will no longer be a thing. And the idea of celebrating a holiday that is founded on genocide and stolen land will just be seen and viewed as completely 100% absurd.
Just a reminder that Thanksgiving is the celebration of a genocide, and by celebrating, whether it's Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving, you're further perpetuating that colonialism is okay and accepted.
They ironically hate the very progressive Western culture they live in for apparently being bigoted, despite paradoxically being the least bigoted culture on the planet. But alright, I understand. You're done with your alt-right MAGA chud parents and you're kicking them out of your life. Actually, one story is of them kicking their alt-right MAGA chud sons out of their life, at least if Reddit is to be believed. Other people are reveling in what they view as the loneliness of these Trump supporters. Oh, your family cut you off for voting for Trump? Well, guess what? You deserve it, and you're gonna die alone.
I think that the Trump supporters are getting an inkling of the ramifications and scope of their misbegotten vote. Do people still like being around you? Are you still friends with people? Does your family want to see you at Thanksgiving?
MAGA women, Southern MAGA women, actually all MAGA women. You know how Thanksgiving has been a little bit uncomfortable? People don't want to come to your house, they don't want to hang out with you. But they aren't going to come to your house at Christmas time. You thought Thanksgiving was bad. Christmas is going to be a wild ride for you. And I'm going to cry one little tear for you, because you're going to be sad because people won't come to your house. And I want to talk to you. The Christmas cards. My God, the Christmas cards. All those cards that you send out, you'll send them to everybody. You probably even put some effort, extra effort into the ones for the people that you know probably don't want to talk to you anymore. And your little ribbon of Christmas cards or your wall of cards or whatever is going to be smaller this year.
Of course, all of this is ridiculous and stupid, but I'm still going to have to be good old centrist Dev and start popping your bubble. In fact, that's probably the greatest Christmas gift I could give you long term. If you think this tendency only goes one way, well, you're just wrong. MAGA people have absolutely cut off family members for not supporting Trump. Religious right-wingers are well known for disowning their gay or trans relatives, especially their children. In fact, that's one of the things that the QAnon wackos are most well known for. They get so deep into the rabbit hole that they end up cutting off everybody except other QAnoners. The Rainbow Alphabet Mafia might operate like a cult, but let's not pretend there hasn't been equivalent behaviors on the right ever since, at least, a cult of personality sprung up around Donald Trump, and also long before that, just in different forms. Some people, like those die-hard QAnoners, or the crazy socialist types, they're just lost causes. They have to find their own way back out of the woods. They're so ideologically captured, you can't help them. But here's your white pill for today. That's actually not most people. If, during this holiday season, you find yourself hanging around a family member who you don't see all that often and who voted differently than you, and it bothers you, the best thing you can do is understand that it's probably the case that his life is very different from yours, and what led to his vote is going to be a product of that different life experience. He's not evil, you're just different people. Firstly, most people don't actually know about the Trump 2020 coup attempt. Most people also don't actually know about the weird LGBT shit with kids happening in some cultural circles. Most people aren't plugged into every story happening all at once like a hyper-autist. They have real lives to lead. They can't be online all the time. Lots of people vote based on ignorance or vibes or whatever, and that's all pretty normal. Secondly, some people may simply weigh things differently than you. Some might value abortion more, or the economy, or whatever. Even if their preferred candidate will not actually solve their specific single issue that drives their actions, they still believe they will, which puts them in the ignorant camp from the first point, not evil. And if their candidate actually will tackle that issue, just because you don't value it like they do doesn't make them evil either. Thirdly, let's be real, you might actually have to cut somebody off. If you have family members that abuse you over your politics or for being gay, or if they actually unironically want to remove the right to vote and own property from women or black people or bring slavery back or some other wild insane shit, yeah, I completely get it if you want to cut them off. But when you start cutting family off over political disagreements that aren't nearly that extreme, you end up conflating the two. Wanting to bring slavery back is not on the same level morally as voting for Trump, just because he said he's going to bring prices down. Even if, let's be real, he's not actually going to do that. And also, if you do have to cut somebody off, that's a big deal, and it's probably not something you should virtue signal about on social media. Nobody has a unilateral right to access you without your consent. That is one of the best parts of our society, freedom of association. But also, your family's the only one you got. No, that family of choice shit is just cope. Those are your friends. I'm not saying you should never walk away from family members and keep toxic people in your life in perpetuity. You might have some very good reasons to cut them off. But I am saying it's not something you should just jump into without really thinking it through first, you know? Also, if you get cut off by somebody else, the worst thing you can do is try to force a reconnection. You will simply make them feel more justified in cutting you off, since you're not respecting their boundaries, and frankly, you're kind of proving them correct. The best thing you can do is simply live your best life and hope they'll come around. I've cut toxic people off for not respecting my boundaries, and inevitably it only makes them more toxic, which pretty much confirms my initial assessment of them. The point I'm getting at is, most people vote the way they do, not because they actually want to hurt others. They're doing what they think is right. Maybe they're wrong, maybe they're stupid, maybe they're uneducated, but overwhelmingly, they're not evil. And when dealing with those family members that you disagree with right now, you should keep that in mind.
If you voted for Trump, I hope your Thanksgiving dinner consists of undercooked turkey, gummy mashed potatoes, dry macaroni and cheese, and burnt pecan pie.